We continue now our team coverage with what this means for the team. And this is extremely unprecedented territory because what we have now is a situation where the Bengals and the Bills are both fighting, Jim Donovan, for playoff positioning. And the league came out today and said this game will not be played at least this week. So this is a situation unlike any we've ever seen.
You're absolutely right. This was the game of the year in the NFL. Everybody knew it was going to come down to this Monday night game. Imagine two of the top teams in the NFL, certainly in the AFC. There were division titles up for grabs with the result of the game last night for both the Bengals and the Bills. And as Jay mentioned, seeding, top seed in the AFC going into the playoffs. Now remember, we are going into the last week of the regular season. So it wasn't only going to be important to the Bengals and the Bills, the result, but a lot of other teams in the AFC were wondering where do they sit after that game last night as they go into their final game of the regular season. Are they in the playoffs? What do they have to do to get into the playoffs? So the business of football, the NFL had to come out with a statement and at least a roadmap of what's going to happen this weekend. So here's the NFL statement that just came out a bit ago. After speaking with both teams and NFLPA leadership, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell informed the clubs today that the Bills-Bengals game will not be resumed this week. The NFL, in fact, has made no decision regarding the possible resumption of that game at a later date. The league has not made any changes to the Week 18 regular season schedule. Now, what that means for the two teams involved in that incredibly emotional game last night is that the Buffalo Bills, they finally went home last night in the wee hours of the morning, leaving their teammate in critical condition at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. They now must prepare for another game coming up this Sunday. They are going to play at home in a big game against the New England Patriots. As for the Bengals, they'll stay at home this week. They are expected to also play this Sunday. They'll take on the Baltimore Ravens. Every other game in the final weekend of the NFL regular season is on schedule and will be played. That means the Browns will be in Pittsburgh, and they'll play the Steelers. And remember, that's an important game for Pittsburgh. There is all kinds of emotion, prayer, and well wishes going out across the NFL and really across the country, and for that matter, across the world, all directed outside the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. This was the scene outside through the morning hours at the UC Medical Center with both fan sets, both fans groups from the Bengals and the Bills gathering for a candlelight and prayer vigil. That will be repeated tonight. There will also be a prayer vigil and a candlelight vigil held outside the Buffalo Bills Stadium there in Western New York. Now, this hit the Bengals hard because it was at their stadium, and they had a full house. And they, of course, were a big part of the story last night, and I thought, and I think probably all of us think, they all did an incredible job under extremely, extremely severe conditions. This from their owner, Mike Brown. First and foremost, the Bengals continue to send thoughts and prayers to Damar Hamlin and his family. Our hearts are with everyone in this unprecedented time. What we can do is support one another. As medical personnel undertook extraordinary measures, both teams demonstrated respect and compassion while fans in the stadium and people around the country bolstered the support for Damar and love for each other. The Bengals are thankful for the love and compassion shown by all, praying for Damar. Remember, there were 70,000 in that stadium last night. And it was very, very fitting, of course, because of the severity of the situation. You could not hear a pin drop as the fans waited for some kind of declaration as to what was going to happen for the rest of the evening. And then finally, of course, the game was postponed and they left the stadium very, very quietly. One other thing, Jay, I want to tell you about, and this is kind of an afterthought after Monica's very, very deep report, and that is, and I found this out today, that the medical, of course, procedure last night was expert, and it was very, very quick, and of course it was needed and it was effective. And I believe, and I know this is pertinent to the Browns, they do a dress rehearsal of that before the season down at the stadium with all of their team doctors, their trainers, the EMS staff that's going to be at every Browns game, the ambulance personnel that's going to be there, and all of the security force that is going to be at First Energy Stadium at a Browns game. When that something happens, and of course they hope it never happens, they would be ready. I would say they were ready in Cincinnati last night.
They did a great job, to your point. One last point to put a bow on this. it's a name most of us are unfamiliar with. He's a young player, just his second year in the league. We had Aditi Kinkhabwala of CBS Sports on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show this morning. She famously covered Damar during his time at the University of Pittsburgh. She said of this young man, he is the kind of son every mother would dream of. And one last note, he had a foundation to provide money for young kids who couldn't otherwise have Christmas presents. Last night, Aditi retweeted the link to that foundation. At the time, the foundation, the goal was $2,500.
That's right.
There was $5,000 in that account. At this moment, there's nearly $4.5 million that have been donated to his Kids for Foundation.
Unbelievable.
Toys for Kids Foundation.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and it really is, it's a testament to mankind, really. It's just an incredible gesture. Jimmy, thanks. I'm sure you'll have much more coming up in sports.
We will. Thank you, Jay.